Hi, so I have a bit of an exercise for you to try. When you look at somebody, as far as you're concerned, what is that person's defining feature? What is their most defining feature? Let me ask somebody asked the question this way, and it's brilliant. So, in my case, am I a woman who is black, or am I a black woman? There's a difference, there's a subtle difference. Because if I am a woman who is black, it means for you, the more defining feature is the fact that I'm a woman. If I'm a black woman, then the most defining feature from your perspective is my race. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. And it doesn't even have to be a racial thing. I talk about race a lot because of my lived experiences, but it doesn't have to be race. So let me try another example. When you look at a man, let's say his name is John, we could say John is a strong white man, or John is a white man who is strong. So, what is the defining feature? If we say he's a strong white man, is the strength that we see first. If we say he's a white man who is really strong, it's his whiteness we see first. There is no wrong answer, and there's nothing wrong with it. So, whatever you see first is not wrong. It doesn't mean you are anything. It's just all of us human beings, we have in our heads, based on our perspective, based on our upbringing, our culture, our life experiences, we know what features, what aspects of other human beings matter to us, and there's nothing wrong with that. People who come to me or who address me from a standpoint of my race, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you're not hurting me because of my race, then there's nothing wrong with that. If your perspective, the thing that stands out for you the most is that I am female, I'm a woman, again, there's nothing wrong with that. But ask yourself this question. Just think of anybody. Think of your friend, family, whatever. Use them as an example in this exercise and let them. So you decide for yourself what stands out for me. Yeah? What stands out for me about that person? Now, that's question number one. Question number two: what expectations do I now have as a result of what I believe defines that person the most? What expectation then am I placing on that person? Again, let me give you another example. So, I'm going to use a Muslim woman who wears a burqa or who wears some kind of hijab to work. So, for me personally, the defining feature would be her religion. Maybe because I grew up in the Muslim part of Nigeria. So maybe that is why. I don't know why, but that's more likely the reason why the most defining feature when I see a woman in a burqa is the fact that she's a Muslim first before anything else. So sometimes, and this is again honesty, vulnerability. So sometimes then, if this is in a place of work, my expectation, that subconscious expectation I have, because what I'm seeing is a Muslim woman, I might make the assumption that this lady might not be interested in doing presentations at work because she's a Muslim. Or I might decide, well, this lady might not want to come out with the rest of the team for lunch because she's a Muslim. I could be wrong, but I have placed an expectation on her based on my perception. Why am I asking this question? I'm talking about unconscious bias. Those little judgments that we make on other people. Again, it's not always wrong. It's just, as I say, the actions or whatever expectation you're putting on that person based on your own perspective, you need to be aware that that is your perspective. That is your assumption on who that other person is. That might not be the case. Again, let me give you another example based on my lived experience. So when I first moved to the UK, actually before I came for like a gap year for 6 months, like a volunteer, and I came through a church, and there had been an announcement that a girl from Nigeria was coming to Birkenhead. Now, a lot of people, when they said a girl from Nigeria, there was a certain picture that was painted in their subconscious. And I know this because later on, they told me. So Nigeria, a girl is coming from Nigeria. A young lady is coming from Nigeria. Some people have seen black people, African people on TV. Flies around their mouth, and they're really poor, and they're very hungry, and they don't speak English, and they live in huts, and they roam around. The kids are barely dressed. So for some people, when they said a young lady is coming from Nigeria, they just saw a grown version of those little malnourished kids. Yeah? For many people, the picture that they had in their minds, the expectation that they placed on me as the young lady coming from Nigeria, when I arrived, they were completely, utterly confused, because I came with my skinny jeans and my very, very high heels. I came with my trendy glasses, and I think I didn't have contact lenses at the time. I had different glasses. I spoke English. I had just finished doing my degree, and I had just worked for 1 year as a TV presenter and a news reporter. And I've come, and I will never forget one day in a shop, I was singing. The shop was playing, I think it was a Mariah Carey tune or something. And I was singing along absent-mindedly. And this lady that I went to the shop with was staring at me in shock. You know this song? Do they play songs like this in Nigeria? So it's not anybody's fault, by the way. It is our life experiences. It is where we're coming from. It forms these pictures in our heads. And as a result, we place expectations on other people. But the truth is that every single human being is an individual. Every single human being is their own person. And they might not fit into that box that your mind has created. How you respond to that is what matters. So in my case, some people then avoided me, because the person they had prepared for is not the person that arrived. So they didn't know what to do with me, so they avoided me. Some people were actively hostile to me. Actively in church, they were actively hostile. Because I walked, this is a direct quote, because I walked around as if I owned the place. Why? Because the expectation that they had of the young lady from Nigeria was somebody with a bowed head who is, grateful to everybody, and who is in need, and who is hungry, and who has come because of what she can get. So some people are actively hostile, but the people that I'm grateful to are the people who stopped to they put their bias, they put that picture at the back of their minds and came to inquire who I am as an individual. So they came to know who EJ is, because their expectations is not what materialized. So you do that, pick someone. Or when you're walking down the road, when you're walking down the street, look at somebody and play this game. What stands out for me about that person? So what does that mean? What expectations am I placing on that person? I've heard someone say things like that person is walking around with a haughty look on their face. You don't know them, you've never met them, you've just decided that person is haughty because of the look on their face. And this is the problem that we are facing in the world at the moment. Unconscious bias, judgment, stereotypes, all those things. Good night.